Hi, babe. Welcome to the Horror Babe Show. I'm your host, Chelsea Beller. I'm back. Oh, hello. Yes, it's me. I'm back. I was on a bronchitis hiatus, which you can probably still kind of hear in my voice. I came down with bronchitis right before Valentine's Day, and it's now past St. Patrick's Day. You guys, I think I had a fever, I had aches and pains, I was coughing. When I tell you, I was coughing so hard that I burst a blood vessel in my eye. I am not kidding. Like, this shit was real. I don't know how. I mean, I do, because much, I think, like other people, I get sick when I'm stressed. Really stressed. I mean, if you're new here, I live in LA and I endured the LA fires in January, and that was severely stressful for me, as it was for all Angelinos. And I hope to never experience that again because it clearly rocked my immune system. It threw everything out of whack, and I got so sick. I'm gonna stop griping about it, but oh, good lord, it is good to be back. It's good to hear my own voice, mostly because this ear is still a little plugged. I tell you, I had an earache. Oh yeah, because my bronchitis was getting better and then turned into a sinus infection. And then I couldn't hear out of this ear. Like, why? Like, why? But it's, it is what it is. Life goes on. I'm here. I'm talking to you. I've missed you. Did you miss me? I know you did. So, in case the title wasn't totally obvious, we will be talking about a remarkable film. I've wanted to review this film since I heard about it. It's finally available to rent for $5.99 on Amazon Prime. Nominated and won Best Achievement in Makeup and Hair. Nominated for Best Motion Picture of the Year. Nominated for Best Achievement in Directing, Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role, Best Original Screenplay, The Substance. Let's review The Substance. Okay, really quick, before I get into all that, I have to talk about this necklace. I call my parents my PR team ever so lovingly because they talk about me and my show to everyone they know, and it fills my heart so much. So my dad, he just started a new job, so he's getting to know his new coworkers at his new job. And they asked, do you have any children? He talks about me because I'm his pride and joy. I'm an only child, in case that wasn't painfully obvious. He tells this woman specifically about Horror Babe Show, and she loves horror. She not only watched one or more of my videos, but she made this necklace. Like, she made it for me. She made it for me. Is that, like, what? This is a handmade rosary. The main, like, pendant, if that's what you call it. Okay, wait, I just have to show you. It's a switchblade. It's a switch. I could, like, I have to wear this every time I leave the house. Her name is Natasha Hernandez. Hi, Natasha. Her online store is called Loca.bella, and you can find her on Instagram. I'll, tag all her shit. This is what she does. She makes rosaries and what's called permanent jewelry, and she's just so talented, and I am just so honored that she made this for me. I'm just so floored. Thank you, Natasha, so much. I truly love it. Now, let's review. There will be spoilers. Please be advised. The substance, for the 3 of you out there who haven't watched it yet, is about a 50-something celebrity lost from the limelight, played by Demi Moore. She decides to take this mysterious drug, a cell-replicating substance that creates a better, version of yourself, but you can only be her for 7 days at a time. So you're her 7 days, and then you're you 7 days, and alternating. Now it gets a little complicated because Demi, who plays Elizabeth, doesn't become this alternate version of herself. She births her, in a way, from her back, which is an excruciating scene. Sue, played by Margaret Qualley, emerges brutally from Elizabeth's back. And for 7 days, Sue struts around town. She replaces Elizabeth on the aerobics morning show. And altogether, she just has a really splendid time being alive. And every day, she has to make sure that Elizabeth's body is being taken care of with this, like, food, fluid stuff. There's lots of needles in this, by the way. If you're not a needle person, maybe skip it. After 7 days, time's up. And now Elizabeth is running the show. Only this doesn't mean that now Elizabeth is on the morning show. It means Elizabeth goes back to being Elizabeth, a cast-off, fired, Oscar-winning actress who lives in a giant apartment overlooking the city and the world's largest billboard with Sue's face on it. They continually live this on-again, off-again life until it gets increasingly more difficult for Sue to go back to being a bathroom rug, and Elizabeth going back to being completely obsolete. So Sue doesn't exactly take one of these major rules of the drug very seriously. You're supposed to switch every 7 days. Every 7 days to the minute. But she starts stealing a few minutes, and then it's a week, a couple weeks, until it's several months. But this first time that she steals a little bit of time from Elizabeth, when it's Elizabeth's turn to walk around, Elizabeth notices she has one crony finger. Just the most disgusting finger you've ever croned. Elizabeth isn't too happy about that. Well, then Sue decides to take a little bit more time. What's a few days? What's a week, you know? It's not gonna hurt anybody. Well, then when Elizabeth is back on her feet, like half of her, like almost down the middle, is now an old, liver spot-ridden, decrepit woman, and the other half of her is normal. So that doesn't really sit too right with Elizabeth. I think that's fair. I'd be pretty pissed too. Until finally, Sue takes months from Elizabeth's existence. Elizabeth has been lying on the floor for months, with Sue just scraping life from her. When Elizabeth wakes up, after months of being cheek to tile, she basically resembles a troll. I can't even really describe her better than that. She looks like a troll. A balding, liver-spotted, wrinkly, knobby-kneed troll. Elizabeth decides, you know what? Enough is enough. We're gonna cancel this. We're gonna, put an end to this, which basically means she's gonna kill Sue. So she gets the stuff. She's about to inject it into Sue. And then she thinks about Sue's glory, her fame, her beauty, everything that Elizabeth used to have. And she kind of reconsiders, and she's like, no, it's fine. We'll let her live. Because she's basically living vicariously through Sue, right? I mean, Sue has all this fame, and she gets all the guys, and she's the most beautiful thing when she walks into a room, you know. Sue wakes up. She sees what almost happened and goes balls to the wall, nutso ballistic on Elizabeth. She starts beating the shit out of Elizabeth's crumpled old troll body and kills her. She ends up killing her. There's blood everywhere. It's a bloodbath. It's crazy. But then she has to get ready because she's the star of tonight's show, the New Year's Eve show. She looks like frickin' Cinderella. And she gets up in her dress and her makeup and her hair, and she's about to go on a stage when her teeth start falling out and her nails start falling out of the nail beds. And she realizes they are one. Like the guy said who gave them the substance.
He said it! He said it!
They are one. And because one of them died, the other's about to kick it. What is she gonna do? She doesn't look the way she's supposed to. She's missing some teeth. She's missing some nails. That's disgusting. How could she go on? I mean, she still has her beautiful face and her hair and the, you know, and the tits and everything, but, you know, she's missing a tooth. So the only thing I can think to do is, oh, I clearly need a better version of me. How does she do this? Well, she finds the tiniest bit of that activation substance left in the needle, which is a one-time use only kind of deal, discard after use, and it's now been like most of a year since. Please, for the love of God, take those labels seriously. If it's one-time use only, it's one-time use only. Throw that shit away. So she injects that into her body, thinking she's going to create a new, better version of herself. She created a new version of herself. This is when Eliza Sue emerges. This is a creature I will not even try to describe. You just have to see it. It's basically Elizabeth and Sue combined into one, but with some oddly placed body parts. She's just a mass, essentially, of all the different parts of Elizabeth and Sue. The thing that shocked me the most was that she still decided to put the dress on and go do the show. So she hobbles onto stage. And this is where your King Kong meets Carrie moment ensues. This is one of the best scenes I've ever had the pleasure of watching. There is blood everywhere. It is shooting out of everything onto everyone, and no one can escape. Finally, she flees because they all call her a monster. She begins almost dissolving into this smaller mass that is literally just, it's now Elizabeth's face, so Demi Moore's face, with like skin goo around her, and still, by the skin of her teeth, almost literally, she is inching down the Hollywood sidewalk where naturally her star on the sidewalk is. And she crawls onto the star and dissolves into it for eternity. I loved this ending because I love a good bookend. We started with a shot of her star on the sidewalk, and we ended with her star on the sidewalk. Also, I will note, I totally called it. In the beginning, some person is walking along the sidewalk and they spill ketchup on her star. And I was like, ooh, that's foreshadowing. And I think it's kind of beautiful that she lives on forever as a star. This film was a hallucinatory experience. This was exceptional cinema. It's a true thinker as well, because you'll keep thinking about it. for days, just going, oh yeah, and that happened. And this is like that one movie. And there's just so many references to like classic horror films. And it's just such an intelligent film. When a film like this has so much to give, so much knowledge and perspective and introspection, you know you have something spectacular, all while being floor to ceiling blood, guts, and needles. Demi puts on an incredible performance. I mean, I just feel for her the entire time. Margaret and Dennis as well put on phenomenal, incredible, remarkable, amazing performances. Dennis as aptly named Harvey. Oh my god. He's absolutely revolting. And what was great about this was I read an article after watching the film, because of course I needed to read everything that I could about it. And that scene with him where he's eating the shrimp, and if you haven't seen it yet, watch out for this scene. I read an article that said this scene is disgusting in more than one way because he is casting off shrimp tails the way he casts off women. And he's literally eating and tossing these shrimp tails as he's firing Demi's character. Like, it's just so perfect and poignant, and I hated it, but I love it. I love the symmetry of it. Margaret Qualley as Sue. I have not seen Margaret before. I thought she was amazing. She clearly displays an incredible range from the revulsion and aggression she feels toward Demi's character and the pride and confidence and glowiness. I thought she was perfectly cast. Absolutely perfectly cast as Sue. I was also thinking about that name, Sue. Like, it's such an interesting name. Why did they choose the name Sue? Like, there's just so many names she could have been named. But I thought, what if it's like an anagram, Like, I'm not in Corley's mind, but like, it could be an anagram for the word use, because Elizabeth was essentially using Sue to live vicariously through her. It could also be use, like one-time use, or it could be like using. I mean, this film treats the substance as an addiction. Demi's character, Elizabeth, is essentially using this drug. And especially the way it's depicted, where she has to go to this sketchy, graffiti-covered alley in order to retrieve it. And in the way that she injects the drug alone in her bathroom, like, it's very clearly pointing at addiction.
Is it an addiction?
So I wouldn't be surprised if it was an anagram, but maybe it's not. Maybe they just picked the name Sue because they liked it. To me, what is there to say that hasn't already been said? Like, yes, she did a phenomenal performance. I cannot sing her praises more. And, oh man, I felt so deeply for her character, especially weirdly when she's getting ready for her date. There's this part where she's getting ready for a date and she looks stunning. Absolutely stunning. She couldn't be more beautiful. I mean, fuck, she's Demi Moore. But she has all these insecurities flood to the surface. She sees Sue on the bathroom floor and she's like, oh, I don't look like Sue. And she sees Sue's giant face on the billboard outside her living room. And again, I don't have the youth and beauty of Sue. And then she sees her own face in the reflection in the doorknob right before she's about to leave the house. It's so disheartening because it's like, okay, if Demi Moore doesn't have a positive image of herself, doesn't have all the confidence in the world because she's one of the most stunning creatures on the planet, like, how am I supposed to leave the house? Like, how can any of us It reminded me of every time I've left the house to go on a date or just left the house to go out with friends and I get stuck in the bathroom primping my hair. My hair is not behaving the way I want it to, or changing my lipstick, or taking off my makeup and putting my makeup on again, or, changing my blouse because it's too revealing or not revealing enough. And like, these are the things. These are the things that everyone really, but in the context of the film, specifically women, deal with every day because of incredibly out of reach beauty standards. And at its core, as we know, that's what this film is about. Insecurity, confidence, the film industry, the beauty industry, being a woman, objectification, youth, fame, eternal life. Nothing too complicated, just the ins and outs of being a woman in this world. There was a quote from this film that really choked me up. When Elizabeth is trying to revive Sue, she says, "You're the only lovable part of me. You're the only lovable part of me. The glitz and glam, the youth and beauty, the perky tits and firm ass, that's the only lovable part of you." So she's just completely disregarding her intelligence, experience, and perspective. Her thoughts and her feelings aren't lovable. That reminds me of every woman I've ever known, including myself. Like, I've known so many women who wouldn't share what they thought or what they felt about something because they didn't deem it valuable. Everyone's thoughts, feelings, and perspective are valuable. Everyone, period. Whether you're black or white or any shade in between, whether you're a man, a woman, trans, whether you're non binary, he, her, she, they, him, them, whatever your pronouns are, whatever color you are, whatever you look like, if you are human, you are valued. Period. And that's why this hits so hard, because Elizabeth feels like she has no value as an older woman. Like, fuck. This film is exponentially important because of this point, especially right now. It perfectly expresses the issues women are confronted with day to day, moment to moment. Not 10 minutes after watching this film did I go make myself a smoothie and think, oh, I should add this ingredient because I read on Instagram that when you do this, it makes you look like this. Like, did I not learn anything? What the fuck? What the fuck does it matter if your skin glows or not? Or if you have sunken cheeks? Or if you have a flat stomach? Or a big ass? Or a small ass? Like, it literally doesn't matter. If you are alive, that's enough. The opinion of people who judge you solely based on your appearance, their opinion does not matter. Take up space. Do what you love. Look the way you want to look. Just as long as you eat and drink water and do what makes you happy, that's literally all that matters on this goddamn planet. So, now that we've entered the self-love, self-care segment of this video, let's rate it 5 out of 5. No question. No question. 5 out of 5. This was an excellent film. I will recommend it to every human person I know, specifically women, because of the commentary on women in today's society. Like, again, exponentially important content to digest, especially right now. Oh my god. I'm exhausted. That's enough for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, shout out to Natasha Hernandez for making me this gorgeous rosary. And please, please, please check out her small business, Loca.bella. She does some great stuff. If this is like your type of jewelry, if you like gothic jewelry, rosaries, like if you like a freaking knife at the end of your necklace, check her out. Also, just a shameless self-plug. I have a TeePublic store. Did you know that? You can buy a mug with my logo. There's also t-shirts with my logo. There's merch with the logo, with the text, and there's also just the text, Horror Babe. So if you don't necessarily want the picture of me, which that is me, in case we didn't know. There's a bunch of cool stuff on there. I don't know. There's like t-shirts and sweatshirts and stickers and all of these things every time you make a purchase. Support me, support my channel, support the show, support the podcast. I could desperately use it because I was sick. But if you want to support the show, but you don't necessarily want some of my merch, I don't see why you wouldn't. But if you don't, you can also become a Patreon member, or you can make a one-time donation at buymeacoffee.com. Every little bit goes a long way. When you do make a donation to buymeacoffee.com, I will shout you out in the next episode. Please don't forget to like, comment, follow, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Letterboxd to see what I'm watching and what I'm rating. Bye, babe.